Welcome back. The Looking for Lilith Theatre Company is back on stage at the Kentucky Center with their upcoming production, Common Threads, Interwoven Portraits of a Pandemic. Here to talk about it, Shannon Woolley Allison, founder, Looking for Lilith Theatre Company. Also from the company is Morgan Young and Claire Hagan. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
My personal curiosity, I have to ask you the question, where did the name for the theater group come from?
I love to talk about this. All right, so our mission is to lift up underheard stories, and we are a feminist theater company, and Lilith in Hebrew tradition is Adam's first wife, whose story is sort of lost from the canon of biblical women. And so
since looking for Lilith,
since we're always looking to uncover the stories that have gotten lost in the sauce, we're looking for Lilith.
And talk about uncovering stories. You tackle something really light right out of the box here, the pandemic.
Yeah. Right. Yes, we story circles and creating theater from hearing people's lived experience is kind of the heart of our work. So last year during the pandemic, we realized that listening to stories was something that we could still do. And then we took those story circles and created short films from them. And now we're creating live theater pieces that interweave with the films.
Yeah, and it's called Interwoven Portraits of a Pandemic. So
exactly.
We're going to find out through, I assume, all these individual experiences that you've documented, how our experiences were all part of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So how does that work?
I think everyone during the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, experienced different varieties and levels of loss or without and isolation. Yeah. So we listened. The most important part about the story circle experience is it's not a conversation. It gives an opportunity for you to tell your story and have others just listen. And not ask you questions, no back and forth with it. So just taking that time to listen to one another's stories and then get inspired to write scripts for them for movies or films, short films. So it's a really creative process that Lilith has developed, and it's something brand new for the company.
Well, so do you call this a performance? Do you call it a presentation? What is it?
Oh, I would say a performance. Absolutely.
Okay.
I think everything we do is a performance, right?
So for someone who's sitting there in the audience, describe what I should expect.
Oh, Claire, do you want to talk about the one you're directing a little bit?
Sure. There were 6 teams that took story circles and created digital pieces based on that. And those digital pieces range from a fairly finished short film to pieces which there's one that is wholly audio. I'm directing the live response to that, and that gives a lot of freedom to create striking visuals to go along with this digital piece that's been recorded.
Okay, you're directing the live response to the pre-produced stuff. What does that mean?
Yes.
Okay.
The 6 teams created those digital responses. I'm directing the live response to the one that is just audio, so there's going to be a lot of movement, playing around with light and dark, and really trying to create something which enhances the words that were created by the team. Shannon is directing the live response to the digital piece that I created, which was a short film. Morgan has also had a hand in creating both a digital piece and a live piece that is responding to that in time. And the responses look very different based on whether the piece has purely audio components or audio and visual. But the attempt is to create something live which interacts with the audience and also interacts with the piece itself to enhance the sort of first layer of work that was created and build something even more engaging on top of that.
When we talk about the arts community in this city, the talent here is immense. The creativity, you're telling me, is just incredible.
Yes.
So what should someone take away from this after having seen it?
I hope 2 things. One, I hope that people will hear their own story of the last 18 months. So as they watch these pieces, I hope they'll hear threads that they can follow that are like, oh, that happened to me, or that resonates with me.
So this could be a very personal experience for somebody sitting there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But one thing I think is really interesting is this entire time in the pandemic, people have kind of been in survival mode, and there hasn't really been a distinctive end, so there hasn't been a time to stop and reflect and think, how have we been affected by this, and how might we move on from this? And actually working on these stories has been the first time I've really felt myself going into that reflection mode and thinking, what have we learned? How can we heal from this?
Yes.
And I can't believe you've been doing this for the entire pandemic. I mean, you thought about this right away when you saw this happen.
Well, and I have to lift up the Kentucky Foundation for Women, who funded the Common Threads project. And I guess I was going to say the second thing that I hope the audience will take away is what we as an ensemble theater have taken away, which is the bravery to try something that we haven't done before. We knew how to lead story circles, and we knew how to devise, to create a story off of those, but like Morgan has learned film editing.
Yes.
The first word in theater is always courage.
Very much so. I'm excited to be a company member with Looking for Lilith, especially expanding and trying new skills. That's what I was most excited about when asked to join the project. I'm newly writer. Claire is a playwright, and I've been writing, but then to take it into making it a film is a different type of script.
Yes.
And learning the editing process and filming in small groups has been great, and that's what you want when you say you're a company member and they do personal or professional development, is learning those types of new skills.
Okay, we're just about out of time. Quick, tell us where people can go to get more information.
You can go to our website, which is lookingforlilith.org. You can buy tickets there at the Kentucky Center website. Follow us on social media. We hope to see all of you there.
Absolutely.
Hey, back in the theater.
Yeah.
Yay, back in the theater.
Thanks so much for being here.